Well. Sneakytashi here, and today we are going to be talking about a monk guide. PvP specifically. Uh, I know that is pretty much what I made my name with, but throughout the months I've been playing other classes. Pretty much only skipped through Necromancer and Wizard because those are intellect classes that, with swapping classes, you don't necessarily get everything, right? So if you're going to go from a strength class to an int class, it makes it a little bit difficult. But anyways, talk about the build. There are two pieces that you can change. You can change either Pensive Crown or you can go for the Cleanse, which is Purity's Thought. Both of them lowers your cooldown by 10% if you have that slot awakened. For the other interchangeable slot, you can either use Harmony's Song or Enlightenment's Blessing. The difference here is if you use Enlightenment's Blessing, you can have the longer duration Shield of Zen paired with the movement speed, so you can have a lot more chase potential. And you can get in and out of the battlefield a lot quickly, a lot easier, right? But Harmony's Song basically allows you to have this super thick line of Wave of Light, and it also goes a little bit further. Actually, not a little bit. It goes a lot further, 29% further, and even more so with Essence Mastery Max. As for the remaining essences, we use Shimmerlin for the shoulders, Traveling Scold for the pants, the Dash Shield for the main hand, which is Intervening Law, and Twitching Palm. Shout out to Diva for being the one that pretty much made Twitching Palm popular, and by far it puts out the most damage in terms of the different offhands that you can use. For the set bonuses, we use 6-piece Gloom. Some people use 4-piece Gloom and 2-piece Barons. I think that for me, with 6-piece Gloom and how strong the actual damage it deals, on top of having a Fear, and if you have Chip of the Stone Flesh, you get a Petrify on top of that. You just, everything just mashes together a little bit more. And with 2-piece Barons, you kind of rely on things like Stun Invocation because you really only have staggers with staggers and knockbacks with this build, and no real stuns aside from Tremor and Stun Invocations. People have asked me what I use for stun for invocations, and it's pretty straightforward, man. Just pick up anything that you really can, but know that damage taken is the best invocation proc that you can have, and loss of control is the second best one that you can have on your gear. But let's be real here. For the triples that you get, you can't really pick and choose what Sun Invocation goes on it. So, like for instance, these shoulders, which rolled 265s across, as completing a summon, which to me doesn't really gain me anything. But combat rating is king. And you can have, you can still pump your secondary stats if you want, but I still say combat rating is king, and invocations after that. Anyways, I think I pretty much covered anything. Paragon Tree, I think this is really up to everybody's choice. I do a lot of PvE. I spend a lot of time in dungeons farming the lonely, lazy river, so I have Treasure Hunter on. But I recommend people to have the 84 points into Gladiator if you do choose to PvP a lot. Otherwise, pump your stats up with damage and health if you can. What I use for my Warband room is I use Protector. Right, you get increased size and you get some cool nifty bonuses to make you a little bit more tanky. As a melee, you're gonna be taking a lot of damage, but melee does have that in it damage reduction. I think it's 30 or 40%. I don't really know what it is, but I do know that melee does have some sort of damage reduction. Anyways, go ahead and let's watch a clip. For those of you guys that are gonna comment before we even get to that part, right? Resonance is not everything, okay? And you'll see that at the end That's definitely resonance is not everything, and no, normal gems aren't everything either, right? Because there are definitely some people that spend a lot more than others, right? I myself am one of those people that spend, but there's people that spend more, like not even twice. They spend 3 or 4, even 5 times more what I've spent. But you know, there is a little bit of skill into the gameplay, which I would say that Diablo Immortal is better in terms of that for PvP and in terms of a lot of games. Anyways, this is a typical starter for me. What I do is I try to create space for my team. As you can see, I don't attack the idol, right? I make sure that everybody is split up differently so that we can get the idols down on time. And what I try to do is I try to make space, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna save my 6-piece Gloom proc to use it in a group setting to hit as many people as I can with it and try to eliminate as many obstacles as I can. In this specific game, we are on attack, but this time around they didn't choose to engage me through the middle or even fight me. And I see that they have several stragglers, so I tried to prevent the enemy team from getting reinforcements. So since there are 3 people of the enemy team here at our phase 2 spawn, I figured that my team, having 7 of them, are going to be fighting against 5 others from the enemy team. So I thought that in this specific game, it was a better decision to sit here and prevent them from joining the other 5 of their team, and I being one would be a good trade-off for that. And that being said, they had 2 necromancers here, which would have definitely been tough for my team to deal with, on top of the whales that they had here. So here you'll see Silent Assassin. This is one of their whales. This is I think like a 6.8, 6.7k monk. Very geared, and he actually plays quite well. He's also using 6-piece Gloom. You can see that it proc right there, but I end up getting the better of this altercation. Here it is. We get a scuffle, and there it is. I barely survived, and I got the shield in the end so that the Seeping Bow doesn't finish me off there, and I get to walk away scot-free. So there it is. We got through phase 1 with a minimum amount of deaths, and here we go to begin phase 2. So as I said, you always try to create space for your team, and one of the best ways of creating space for your team is to kill the enemy team, right? You know what they say, the best defense is a good offense. And us being on offense, and with our team having that disadvantage of being on attack, you kind of try to make sure that your teammates are not dying as much, right? So you try to make space, you try to get ahead, you try to still move the idols, but you have to make sure that someone's on it so that it can stay moving. But as you will see in this specific game, I'm often going to be ahead. And so this is their other whale. This is actually JT's All Business. I'm sure you guys know who that is. But they recently did this thing where they ran away from a server. They ran away from Town Portal, which was kind of funny to me because JT was very adamant on making a super server to make it competitive. But the moment that they had some competition that they couldn't beat, they decided to run to another server. So you're gonna see here JT, I think this is his like 3rd or 4th day playing as a crusader, and let's just say it's not very impressive. As you can see here, the idol is moving. I'm constantly standing in front of the lane, trying to prevent reinforcements or people to even get close to my teammates. And so you just keep killing them, right? If they keep coming, you keep killing them, and you hope for the best and to create space for your team so that you're not incurring as many deaths as possible. There it is. I did a bad call here. I ended up moving forward when I didn't have any cooldowns, and Silent Assassin ends up killing me for my first death there. As you can see, the left and the right side are both pushing, so I decide to go to the side which has more enemies so that I can better support my team and provide more space and give my team as best of an advantage that I can for them. I end up dying here. I ran out of cooldowns, and Silent Assassin does get the better of me for the second time. So well played. Now I see that my team is stacked up on the left side with a couple of stragglers here on the right. I think they might have died because of the minimap. But fortunately they're alive. And so knowing that I have people on the point, I try to support. And after that, once I confirm that the Barbarian already has his Undying Rage proc, I'm pretty sure that my teammate can clean up that kill. There's no point like chasing last hits, right? Because in the end, what matters is the win. So I always think that it's such bad play for people to sit behind and try to get a last hit on a Barbarian instead of just walking away, right? Because once a Barbarian is already procced with Undying Rage, you only really need 1 or 2 people to kill him. So here it is, my Gladiator gets procced after an altercation in the back. Our team is somewhat getting overwhelmed here. We have, I think, 2 or 3 people on the left side, and the rest of my teammates did not survive the altercation on the right side. I could have played this a little bit better by fighting a little bit further onto the point, but in this specific case, I was getting zoned by the Necromancers and the Bone Pillars. Ended up dying for my bad play. But here it is, I noticed that a lot of my team is on the right side and that the left side had just died. So remember what I said, you always have to keep the idols moving. And fortunately here I see that we have Bull Krapos. He's here on the spot. He was trying to heal, but he didn't get the chance to do so. And so I popped my ult here in hopes of killing Silent Assassin and finishing him off. And fortunately, that's exactly how it turned out. And here it is, the enemy is starting to notice that we're also pushing the left side. JT not really doing much for his team. Oh man. He ends up getting carried away by a Barbarian, and then he dies here to a Bull Krapos. So you could technically say that Bull Krapos took a fat dump on JT's chest. So as I see here that our team needs some support to push the left side and us getting reinforcements on the right, I try to create space by fighting them at their spawn. Unfortunately, JT gets through here, but he ends up dying real quickly with an Invis Necromancer coming through, and I really wish that they would get rid of that, because it's still very prevalent that you can have Invis Necromancers. And here it is, we try to spawn camp them, but I end up dying for it. And here I really hope that our team ends up pushing through, and they did! So in the end, my death was not in vain, and so we finally get to begin phase 3 with 9 lives remaining. So here it is. I know that their team, the stronger members of their team, like Silent Assassin, is still in the back with a couple of Necromancers. So you know what I said, right? Well, not me. So someone much smarter than me in the past have said it, right? The best offense, or the best defense, is a good offense. But it kind of doesn't make sense because we're on offense. But anyways, I went back and I killed Silent Assassin to make sure that we don't incur as many deaths as possible. But anyways, good games. I think that that game would have been a blowout if JT was a better player, but let's be real here. We're not really expecting much out of him. So Silent Assassin here with 25 kills. Did a fantastic job, but unfortunately he didn't really have a lot of help from his other whale. And we're gonna slow it down here a little bit just so you guys can see. But JT has an absurd amount of stats. A lot of stats. Here it is when we look at his attributes. Alright. You'll see that his secondary stats, he's using rank 9 gems from the stats that he has. That's a significant amount of stats.